Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the best books I have read when it comes to things such as nutrition, lifestyle, and just overall health. These books focus on things such as the importance of whole foods, the importance of animal foods, ketogenic diets, fasting, sunlight, and more. They opened my eyes, they changed my perspective, and they ultimately helped to form the views on nutrition and health that I currently hold. Some of these books are going to be pretty basic. They're going to be more for someone who's just starting a health journey, so if you have a friend or maybe that's you. And then other ones are going to be a bit more of a deep dive, looking into a specific topic. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you my top 3 picks, my favorite books that I think everyone should read. Now, I know for a lot of us, it can be hard to find the time to actually sit down and read. We lead busy lives with so many distractions being thrown at us from all angles. So you may think you don't have the time to read nonfiction books. I am definitely guilty of this mindset. But then I discovered Blinkist. Blinkist is the only app that takes the best information from nonfiction books and condenses them down into 15 minutes. That means only 15 minutes of reading, and you're going to get all the main points from the book. You also have the option to listen instead. I like Blinkist because it allows me to read books that I otherwise wouldn't have time for. They have thousands of books in their library, and every book I'm going to recommend today, you can find on the Blinkist app. I actually use the app to refresh my memory on a lot of the books that I'm going to mention today. The first 100 people to download the app and sign up through the link in my bio are going to get a 1 week's free trial plus 25% off if you decide to sign up for the full membership. So check it out. It's a really cool app. I highly recommend it. And thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. The first book on my list today is The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teicholz. This book talks about how we have been misled into believing that fat is the enemy, that fat is what's making us fat and sick. And it also talks about how refined food and refined sugar and carbs specifically are the real problem. This book is very approachable. It is very entry level. If you are just getting into the low carb sort of space, or if you know someone who is, Nina does a great job of breaking it down, making it just really simple. The next book is The Case Against Sugar by Gary Taubes. This book is sort of along the same lines as The Big Fat Surprise, but more focused on sugar being our main concern and the main driver of disease, obesity, etc. This book was one of the first ones I read when I was first getting into this whole, I guess, starting my health journey, looking into nutrition. And honestly, this book, along with a few other documentaries I watched on sugar, had me completely swearing off refined sugar for well over a year. I literally never touched dessert in that time. I was so anti-sugar. I've mellowed down a little bit now. Obviously, I still eat very, very low sugar, but if I'm at someone's birthday and there's cake, I might have a slice. Whereas a couple years ago, I would absolutely not touch the stuff. Anyways, again, very approachable, very entry level for anyone who is first getting into all this stuff and doesn't really know what the problem with sugar is. Then we have The Art and Science of Low Carb Living. This is written by Jeff Volek and Stephen Phinney. So the last 2 books I mentioned, those were both written by investigative journalists, whereas this one is written by nutritional scientists. If you want to know the science behind why low carb diets work, for everything from weight loss to athletic performance, this is the book for you. It's definitely not as beginner friendly as the other 2 I mentioned, but it's really, really good for anyone who wants to actually understand and wants to know the why. Then we have Genius Foods by Max Lugavere. This book is all about the connection between the foods we eat and our brain health, and specifically relating to things such as Alzheimer's and dementia. This book talks about how to prevent them and why it is never too early to start taking action. And then we have The Complete Guide to Fasting by Jason Fung. If you're interested in getting into fasting, either intermittent or prolonged fasting, This is basically the all you need to know guide. The whole book, I think, is something like 300 pages. So not very long, but there's a lot packed in there. All the tips, just everything you need to know pretty much. Jason Fung also has 2 other books called The Obesity Code and The Diabetes Code. I haven't read either of those, but based on how great this Guide to Fasting book was, I can only assume those 2 books are also pretty good. Vitamin D, The Sunshine Vitamin by Zoltan Rona. This book is, as you can probably guess, all about vitamin D, which I think is one of the most underrated vitamins. Every single cell in our body has a receptor for vitamin D, and it is important for so many bodily functions. Being deficient in this vitamin plays a role in causing numerous diseases and cancers. Anyways, the gist of it is vitamin D is important. I filmed a whole other video on the topic of vitamin D inspired by this book, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, also obviously recommend the book. Okay, and now for my top 3. So these are in no particular order. I think all 3 of them are great. The first one is Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. If you've gone down the ancestral eating rabbit hole at all, I'm sure you have come across Weston A. Price. This book was actually written in the 1930s. Price was a dentist who traveled around the world and was pretty much trying to figure out why people in modern societies were plagued with these diseases that were virtually non-existent in people living more traditional lifestyles. This book is all about why animal foods are key, how they are such an important component of all traditional diets pretty much. Some of the photos in this book are absolutely mind-boggling. Most of them focus on teeth, and they emphasize just how much nutrition impacts their growth and structure. Now this one is seriously a hefty book. I think it's something like 1,300 pages. So if that sounds a little bit overwhelming, then Blinkist, great option. It took me ages to get through, but honestly, it is worth reading. There is a lot of really good information in here. My second top pick is Deep Nutrition by Kait Shanahan. This book actually references Weston A. Price quite a lot, so they kind of go hand in hand. It talks about things such as the importance of organ meats and traditional foods, cooking meat on the bone, things like that. But one other section of this book that I thought was really, really insightful was the part on vegetable oil and just how toxic it is, how terrible it is for our health. I know I've talked about this on my channel before, but yeah, this book goes into it a lot deeper than I ever could. And my third and final top pick is Unconventional Medicine by Chris Kresser. This book is actually aimed at healthcare professionals, but I think it is really, really important for just about anybody to read. It talks about the problem with our current healthcare system, how it's set up to only treat symptoms and not get to the root cause. This book is actually what inspired me to get into health coaching. It talks a lot about how health coaches can be a valuable tool, how they can work together with doctors and dietitians. Just overall, really eye-opening to how the healthcare system's set up, and also really motivational if you are currently in this space or thinking about getting into it. All right, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your favorite health and nutrition books in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to check out the Blinkist app. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kait, I'm a health coach, and I have way too much of a shiny face. Specifically relating to neurodegenerative disease. I don't know what's going on. There are just all these trucks that keep clanging around, driving down the street. Sorry if you can hear them.